everyone, welcome back to the kitchen. If you're new here, I'm Cheyenne with the Rosevine Cottage Girls. If you're not, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here with us again. Today we are on another freeze-drying adventure, and we are going to be doing zucchini. So this is great for the summer months when your squash and zucchini are going crazy and you need something to do with it. So we are going to walk you through exactly how to freeze-dry your zucchini. Let's get started. Alright, so first off, you're going to remove the ends of your zucchini. And you're going to want to wash these before you start. So there's a couple ways you can do these. You can dice them, you can run them in thin slices using a mandolin or a knife, just cut them in real thin pieces. That would be perfect for like a zucchini lasagna. Or you can do them in like coins. So for today's video, we're going to do dices. So actually I'm going to cut it like this first. Nice long strips. This is actually one of my butcher knives, but I really love it for doing our vegetables. Faithy, you coming to join us? Alright, so I'm going to cut these in half so they'll fit through our chopper, which I'll show you in just a minute. It makes prep work so much easier. Alright, so get that open. Oop. I have to cut them again. They're a bit too big. There we go. Alright, so we're just going to put it in and then pop the lid down. It's a little loud, but it does such a lovely job chopping. This really does make the chopping process a breeze. We use it for everything. So I'll link this and everything else we're using as usual in the description. Make sure to check out our other videos on freeze drying. We just did a bunch of them and you can find them all in the series, and we'll continue adding to that as we go. Let's go ahead and slice this one down. Alright, so we're going to cut these in pieces. There we go. So these are going to go in our freezer for pre-freezing. Just going to cut our in-process, tie them down by quite a bit. It doesn't have to work on freezing it. I love that click. Makes me so happy. I know, it's ridiculous. Alright, last one. We actually use this quite a bit once we have it freeze dried for everything from our dog food that we make for Faith, who was just in here checking out what we were doing, and just I like to throw it in this pasta sauce I make. It comes out so good. Anyway, get this last bit chopped up and then we will get it on our trays into the freezer. This is all chopped up and perfect. I'm just going to dump it out on our tray. Preferably don't dump it on the floor like I just did. You can fill your tray up to just about the rim. These do tend to shrink a little bit as you run them through the process. There we go. Those last couple pieces done. And we are ready to pop it in the freezer. onto the tray. I got about 3 large zucchinis on one tray. Come on, get out of there. Alright. Perfect. Alright, so this is ready to go in the freezer. And you can freeze it for a couple hours or overnight. Overnight is the best option, but we have been known to just freeze it while our machine is defrosting and then pre-cooling, so that is a perfect way to get this done. Be back when it's ready. So one of the great things about freeze drying over just freezing or dehydrating or even canning is that the process of freeze drying really preserves the nutrients in your food, unlike some of these other options. And it also lasts a lot longer. So if it's something that you don't eat a ton of, but you grow a ton of in a season, and you want to make it last longer in your pantry, you don't eat through your pantry quite as fast on those items as you really would like to, freeze drying is a great option for that because it lasts so much longer without losing its nutrition. Frozen zucchini is ready to go into our freeze dryer. Once it's all loaded, we'll lock it down. Make sure that's nice and tight. Close our valve. Make sure your valve isn't closed very well. Hit continue, and that's going to start our process. Alright, so here's a batch that we already did. This is done with a smaller dicer. That machine we used to chop it has a smaller grate that you can use. And I'm just going to go ahead and reconstitute some to show you how it does. And you can actually eat this like this. It's really good. Almost tastes like the veggie sticks, which is another thing you can do with a freeze dryer. You can just cut them to the shape of a veggie stick and run them through. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit of hot water. And we're just going to let that sit. You can already see that it is starting to absorb that water and become much softer. They've got much more of a spongy texture now. That tastes a lot like it had just been cut. It could use some salt, obviously, because it's just straight zucchini. But it is really good. You could absolutely throw that into whatever you're making. I wouldn't suggest trying to serve it fresh like this, but throwing it into a dish, a sauce, or into an omelet would be absolutely delicious. So you can store your freeze-dried zucchini in a jar like this. We vacuum seal ours to lock out all the oxygen. You can also store them in Mylar bags. That is going to be the option that lasts the longest. If you're not super worried about a very long pantry stability, then a glass jar works really well. It also keeps rodents or other pests out, which Mylar cannot do, at least for the rodent part. You can also keep them in a plastic bucket with oxygen absorbers, especially. That's a really good option if you are going to be doing a lot of it and use it quite a bit. So you aren't constantly opening up jars. You can just have a bucket ready to go, take out what you need, close it back up, and the oxygen absorber is going to keep it fresh.